Hey guys, very good morning, good evening, good afternoon, my dear lovely student. CA Foundation, Sale of the Goods Act, a very important chapter where we are going to discuss all the important questions you can expect from your CA Foundation exam that most probably December next month right? Start liking the video, start joining bacho. Bega join agree so that we can start the class now. No, the contract act is done, right? Contract act we have completed. Chalo. So in the previous class we have done contract, correct? Iga sale of the goods act. Sale of the goods act muksona. Sale of the goods act admage we can go for the next chapter. All right. Start liking the video, share and subscribe to the channel if those are new to the channel, bacho. One second. Like ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ ವಿಡಿಯೋನ ಚಲೋ ಬಾರಮ್ಮ ಸೇಲ್ ಆಫ್ ಗುಡ್ಸ್ ಆಕ್ಟ್ ಬಾ ಕ್ಲಾಸಿಗೆ. ಈಗ sale of the goods act also have a equal important chapter to clear business law. To getting 60 marks from the business law, bacho, this chapter is a very important. Get ready. We are here to make sure that you are going to get. But what we are doing? Yes, we are going to focus on. One second. Okay. Today we'll discuss complete chapter on sale of the goods act. Where hi Pushpa, how are you beta? Hi the couplier. Sale of the goods act. Sale of the goods act has a very important concept and very important chapter from the point of exam bacho. Contract act we have done most of the questions. Now we'll start focusing on sale of the goods act. My name is Thakur sir. I'm 12th class. Okay, Thakur. Welcome to Rio classes, Rio CA. But every day we have a class. Join our WhatsApp group that is in the description. Telegram channel also we have. Join there. You'll get update and download the app Rio Academy from Play Store and subscribe to our channel Rio CA. Rio CA, my dear student. So Rio CA is the channel where dedicated to CA Intermediate and CA Foundation. In detail agi everything we are going to cover from scratch from all the concepts. So download our channel Rio CA, YouTube channel Rio CA. Next, start. So bacho, first question is here on the sale of the goods act. Explain the delivery form. Delivery and its form. What is the delivery and what are its forms? When the goods can be delivered. When the goods can be delivered. And what are the types of delivery we have under the Sale of the Goods Act 1930. But remember, right? Delivery means when we are selling, we are giving. The ownership has been transferred from seller to the buyer. Hi Vinay. Very good morning, bacha. So bacho, here we have questions as per the section 2 subsection 2. Delivery means what? Transfer, ownership transfer, right? Ownership transfer from one person to another person. Remember, delivery means it's a transfer of the goods, transfer of the possession of the goods, transfer of the ownership of the goods from one person. So what we have to write? It is a delivery means voluntarily with a soichentra. Transfer of possession, control, ownership, everything from one person to another is called delivery. Got it? Hi Archana. Hi Priyanka. Very good morning, my dear lovely student. How are you, bacho? So now, see, general rule, delivery of the goods may be made by doing anything which has effect of putting the goods in the possession. Any kind of effort you are putting to get the control of the goods, taking of the goods. By whom? The buyer. Once you make the payment, right? Somebody has given you the goods, right? So that means putting the goods in possession of the buyer. It's kind of effort where we are giving some kind of effort to give them possession of the goods to the buyer, or any person authorized to hold them on behalf. Anybody on behalf of the buyer, anybody can have a first to buy the goods. All right, bacho. All right, now understood this? Understood this, bacho? Now forms of delivery. So guys, there are different forms of delivery we have. Okay, so ಧ್ವನಿ ಅಂತ ಕ್ಲಿಯರ್ ಆಗಿದೆ. ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ sound looks like. Now forms of the delivery, there are three types of delivery. One is actual delivery. Okay, one is actual delivery. Next, second, constructive delivery. Third, symbolic delivery. We have total how many? 3 types of delivery here. Right, bacho? We have total 3 types of the delivery here. First, what do you mean by actual delivery? What does actual delivery means? So, bacho, when the goods are physically delivered to the buyer, physically we are delivering to the buyer, is what, bacho? Actual delivery it is. A sold his car to B and gave the possession of the car to B. The handing over the car by A to B is what it is called actual delivery. We are giving to them. Got it? Bacho? Next is what, sir? Next, constructive delivery. What do you mean by constructive delivery? Means it is also known as delivery by autonomy acknowledgement. Very important. Autonomy acknowledgement. When delivery is affected by without any change in the custody or actual possession of things or goods. Actual possession or things or goods. Got it? So now, listen, goods are still with the buyer, the seller. A had kept the goods in the warehouse of O. Later he sell the same goods to B and inform O that goods are now in a possession of on behalf of the B and not in his behalf. Means you got it? So bacho, that means my dear student, assume that one second, where is the slide? Okay, here is that. Assume that you are here, you have given your goods to somebody else to keep it. So that person is holder, or you can say keeper. And what you have done, you have sold these goods to some of your friend and told the friend that just go and collect it from that person. So it is called as a constructive delivery. Understood, bacho? It is called as a constructive delivery. Understood? Any doubt? Pushpalata, Priyanka, Archana? No doubt, my dear student? No doubt. So second form of delivery is constructive delivery. So when the delivery is affected without any change in the custody with somebody XYZ, because he is holding it, but the ownership has changed. One second. मैं बोलता हूँ. Sorry guys, I got a call. Now, symbolic delivery. You got understood this, bacho? Tell me. Understood this now? Constructive delivery understood. Can I go for the next? Because once I complete the Sale of the Goods Act, we have one more chapter, that is partnership. After that, we have LLP. After that, we have companies account. All right, bacho. Symbolic means when there is a delivery of the things in token form. Transfer of something else. The seller gives the buyer the means to obtain the possession of the goods. Remember, bacho. Delivery of the goods in the course of transit may be made by handing over the documents, right? Handing over the documents of the title, like bill of lading, railway receipt, delivery order, right? Are the key warehouse containers in the handover. Means, see, assume that, bacho, you are assume that you are in Hubli, right? And you have sent these goods to the Bangalore. In the same time, what happens? In the Bangalore, the buyer, you have posted them documents of the goods or ownership of the goods. Goods are collected by the buyer from the transport company by showing the bill of lading. That is your bacho. What? Symbolic delivery. We call it is symbolic delivery. Arthagideya? Arthagide? Understood? Nodi, when there is a delivery of the things in token of transfer of the something else, the seller gives the buyer the means to obtain the possession of the goods, right? So delivery of the goods in course of transit may be made handing over the documents of the title of the goods like bill of lading or railway receipt or delivery order or the key of the warehouse containing the goods handed over to buyer. Arthagideya? Understood? Understood, my dear student? Understood? Can I go for the next? Can I go for the next question, bacho? Please say yes, sir. Understood. Hello, Kaushik. Arthaginapa Kaushika? Tell me, bacha. Arthagidiya? Archana, Priyanka, Pushpa. Tell me, bacho. No doubt? Guys, what I want is that you may get a question, I'm sure, and this question, previous question was that is RTP in 18, MTP in, it is a very important and most probable question, bacho. You need to remember this. All right, bacho. Explain the term goods and other related terms. Explain the term goods and its other related terms under the Sale of the Goods Act. But you remember, what is the goods? Right? And related to that, what are the terms we have? We have to be understood under the Sale of the Goods Act 1930. But let's start now. Look, a very important is that as per the section 2 subsection 7 of the Sale of the Goods Act 1930, goods means every kind of movable property, the one which is not fixed, it is movable property, other than actionable claims. Other than actionable claims means on that goods somebody is showing that it is my property. And money cannot be goods here. And include the stocks. Goods includes what, bacho? Stocks. Goods includes shares. Goods includes growing crops, grass, and things attached to the farming part of the land. All are nothing but goods, which are agreed to be, right, observed before the sale, which are agreed to be observed before the sale or under the Contract Act. Understood? Understood, bacho? So these are the goods. Got it? Now, what is actionable claim? Means, bacho, actionable claim means which can be enforced only by the action of suit. Actionable claim is which can be enforced by action of suit, like any kind of debt, sala, loan, right? A debt is not a movable property or goods. Even the fixed deposit, receipt, FDR, are considered as a goods under the section 176. If you deposit money in the bank and if you have receipt, that is also considered as a goods in the section 176 of the Indian Contract Act. Read the sections 2 subsection 7 of the Sale of the Goods Act. But you understood this now? Understood what exactly the goods is? Goods is nothing but other than actionable claims and money. And goods include what? It includes stock, it includes shares, it includes grass or growing crop and things attached to the farming land, right? Which are agreed to be observed, right, before the sale or under the contract of the sale. Now, next question, bacha. Next question is here. Any doubts you have? State briefly the essential elements of the contract of the sale under the Sale of the Goods Act. Look, very important. Essential elements. What are the elements of contract of the sale? Sale of the Goods Act. Very important. But this question has repeated RTP 20 and RTP 21. You can expect this also for December. But the following are the essential elements of exist in the contract of the sale. Right? There must be at least two parties. Who are those? Seller and buyer. Correct? And the subject matter of the contract must be necessarily the subject matter. Remember, subject matter of the contract must be necessarily goods, right? And shall be only movable goods. Remember, it is movable goods. Remember, bacho, it should be always movable goods, not immovable goods. Now, consideration. Bacho, consideration in contract of the sale must always be price. The price, the value of the goods, not in kind. Remember, the consideration in contract of sale is price, not in kind. Understood? And price is the money. Price should be money, which is legal tender of the country. Wherever you're dealing, that country's currency we are talking about. That country's currency we're talking about. So, however, the consideration may be partly kind or partly money. Right? So, bacho, these are the three essential elements. There must be two parties. One is seller and buyer. And subject matter of the contract is what? Subject matter of the Sale of the Goods Act contract is goods and shall not be movable. It should be movable goods. And consideration should be in price, not in the kind, but price in money, which is legal tender of the country. However, the consideration may partly kind and partly money. Next. Transfer, a very important part. Bacho, very important part. Transfer of the property in goods from seller to the buyer must take place. Right? It is also essential of the contract of the sale. And contract of the sale may be absolute and, or you can say conditional. Contract of sale may be absolute and conditional. All other essentials of the valid contract must be presented. Remember, all the essential valid of the Indian Contract Act, right, that also entered here apart from this. Understood, bacho? Understood? Kishore, sir, third point explain madi. What is the third point, bacha? What is the third point? Consideration in contract of the sale must be price. Iga yaude one vastu nino, any goods if you are buying means or selling means, the return you should pay the price. Price should be in terms of money, that too of legal tender of that country. If you're dealing in India, Indian rupee. If you're dealing in America, dollar, right? However, contract consideration, whatever the price you're paying, right, it can be in kind or it can be partly in money. Understood? Understood, bacha? Next. And all the essential elements of valid contract. If say contract is valid, it has some elements, right? Same applies here for contract of sale also. Understood? Understood, bacho? Doubt? Doubt diya? No doubt, my dear student? So guys, Sale of the Goods Act, take it very important because compared to Indian Contract Act, it is ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ easy ಇದೆ. Aram se pass ಆಗ್ಬೋದು now. Right? I'll be sharing this PDF with you. Please go through it. And those who are watching on the YouTube, like, share, and subscribe. Difference between sale. Bacho, what do you mean by sale and hire purchase? Right? We need to find out under the Indian Contract Act. Bacho, remember. So you may expect these questions for your December attempt. So contract of the sale, I'm going to cover whole thing from the scratch, line to line explanation will be there. But important question, how to answer this question, I'm going to discuss with you. Please be with me till end. And bacho, see, sale and hire purchase. Now hire purchase means what, bacha? You are buying the goods by paying the installment. Sale means you are paying the whole amount at once. So time of the passing of the property. So bacho, possession or ownership will pass. Where pass? Remember. So property in goods is transferred to the buyer immediately at the time of the contract. In case of sale, property in goods will be transferred, because if you're buying the goods by paying cash payment, you will be the owner of that. But in case of hire purchase, property in goods passes to the hirer upon the payment of last installment, because we are buying on the installment, right? Once you make the last installment payment, you will be the owner of that goods, right? Right, bacha? Next, position of the property. See, position of the buyer is that of owner of the goods. Here, owner, you can sell it to anybody. Once you buy, you can sell it to anybody. Whereas the position of the hirer is that bailey, till he pays the last month. Bailey, he can be hold it, he can be use it, but he cannot sell it. Understood? He cannot sell this. All right, bacho. Next, termination of contract. See, termination of the contract, buyer cannot terminate the contract and is bound to pay the price of the goods. The buyer cannot terminate at all. If he's the seller, you want to sell, if you have agreement with them that you're going to buy it, you cannot terminate. But hirer may, if he so likes, terminate the contract by returning the goods to the owner without any liability to pay the remaining installment. ಈಗ ನೀವು installment ದಲ್ಲಿ goods ಖರೀದ್ರೆ, once you buy the goods on installment, if you don't want, you can stop paying the installment, you can return the goods. That also another termination of the contract ಆಗುತ್ತದೆ. Okay na? Okay. Burden of the risk of insolvency of the buyer. If buyer is insolvent, see, the seller takes the risk of any losses resulting from the insolvency of the buyer. Seller takes the risk of the losses resulting from the insolvency of the buyer, because seller is the responsible, because if the buyer is not going to pay, buyer is not able to pay, buyer is in a situation where he cannot pay the money, in that case, whole responsibility go to the seller. But whereas the owner takes no such risk, for if the hirer fails to pay an installment, the owner has the right to take back the goods. Right? Owner has the right to take back the goods, because he has not paid, because the ownership has been not transferred. Right? Transfer of the title. Now title means what? Title means bacho the ownership. The buyer can pass the goods title to bona fide purchaser from him. Yeah, immediately title will be transferred from seller to buyer. The hirer cannot pass any title, even bona fide purchaser. Right? Because still you are not the owner. When you are not the owner of the goods, you cannot sell to anybody else. Right? But here the buyer has paid all the money, you are the owner of the goods, you can transfer the goods to anybody whoever you want. Understood? Understood, bacho? Next, resale. The buyer can resell the goods, obviously. In case of sale, bacho, 100% buyer can resell the goods, whereas hire purchasers cannot resell the goods until and unless he pay all the installment. Once he make all the installment, hire purchaser can pay the goods, because it won't be any hire purchases, but the hire purchaser cannot resell the unless he has paid all the installment. Understood, bacho? Understood? Very important question. Very important question. What is difference between sale and hire purchase? You can expect this question for December 23. Any doubts you have? Doubts you have? Can we start the next question, bacho? Let's discuss now. Archana, Mate Pushpa, everybody tell me, understood, bacho? Understood, right? Now, classify the following transaction according to the types of the goods they are. Listen, a very important. Vinay, I will update you. Let me finish this, bacha. Let me finish this. Definitely will update you. Second PUC class time will be there in the Rio Academy, Rio classes. But in Rio CA, only we have CA foundation classes. All right. Now, a wholesaler of cotton has 10,000 bales in the godown. Remember, what they want, what kind of goods they say. They want to know what kind of type of the goods they are. He agreed, because in wholesaler godown has 10 bales of cotton in his godown. He agreed to sell 50 bales, and these bales were selected and set aside. He agreed to sell. Who is that? Seller agreed to sell the 50 bales, and he kept it aside. Tell me, Tell me बच्चों, what kind of type of the goods is this? Tell me बच्चों, what kind of goods is this? बच्चों, these are nothing but, बच्चों, listen, identified goods, right? Identified goods. See, a wholesaler of cotton 100 bales is in Gudon. He agreed to sell 50 bales, and these bales were selected aside. On selection of the goods become a certain goods it is. A certain goods it is. Right? A certain goods it is. So in this case, the contract is sale of a certain goods as cotton bales are to be sold, are identified and agreed after formation of the contract. Understood? Understood, bacho? So first one is identified goods. We got to know that we have identified it, we have kept aside, we counted. That means it is a certain goods. Remember, my dear student, remember this. These are nothing but, my dear student, a certain goods it is. Remember, next question. Next question is here. Bacho, A agrees to sell B 1 packet of salt out of lot of 100 packets lying in a shop. He agreed to sell. Take any one of the stock you want. Now tell me, bacho. Now tell me what type of the goods it is. See, if A agreed to sell B 1 packet of salt out of lot of 100 packets lying on the shop, it is sale of unascertain goods, because anything you can buy it, as the goods are only described as a and not identified here. Understood? Understood, my dear student? Understood? Can I go for the next? Can I go for the next? Bacho, next is what? T agrees to sell as all the orange which will be produced in his garden this year. Means this year, whatever the orange he's going to produce, right? So, bacho, these are nothing but, we can say, here there is agreement, right? There is an agreement. So, bacho, listen. Explain first, sir. Yaudapa? Ascertain goods andre, remember one thing, very simple agide. Identify ಮಾಡಿರ್ತೀವಿ. ಒಂದು ಲಂಚ್, ಒಂದು ಗೊತ್ತಾಯ್ತಿಲ್ಲ ನಿಮಗೆ? He agrees to sell as all the oranges which will be produced in his garden this year. It is a contract of the sale for future goods, because that goods are not exist at the time of the contract. So amounting to agreement to sale it is. Agreement to sale it is. ಅರ್ಥ ಆಗಿದೆಯಾ? ಅರ್ಥ ಆಗಿದೆ ಬಚ್ಚೋ? ಬೇಗ ಹೇಳ್ರಿಪ್ಪ. Tell me, guys. No doubt? No doubt? No doubt? ಅರ್ಥ ಆಗಿದೆಯಾ? Next question. I could purchase 100 kgs of wheat from Bhaskar. Right? From Bhaskar, he has purchased how many kgs? 100 kgs of wheat from Bhaskar. What is the rate? At 30 per kilo. Guys, listen. Bhaskar says that wheat is in his warehouse. Bhaskar says wheat is in his warehouse, in custody of Kishore, the person who is holding the warehouse. The warehouse keeper, Kishore, confirm Ankit, right? Kishore, the warehouse keeper, confirm Ankit that he can take the delivery of the wheat from him, and till then he is holding the wheat on Ankit's behalf, A's behalf. Before Ankit picks the goods from the warehouse, the whole wheat in the godown of the warehouse has flowered in a flood. Oh my God. The wheat is got rotten. Right? Before Ankit picks the goods from the warehouse, the whole wheat in the warehouse has flowed in a flood. Means it's gone flowed. Illa halagobitide. Now Ankit want his price on the contention that no delivery has been done by seller. Whether Ankit is right with his view under the Sale of the Goods Act 1930, please explain. Listen, there are three types of delivery we have. One is actual delivery, second is constructive, third is symbolic. Tell me, where is that? Whether it's actual, constructive or symbolic, which kind of delivery it is? Tell me, bacho. So bacho, as per the contract of the Act for the Sale of the Goods Act 1930, there are three types of the delivery we have just now we discussed. That is actual delivery, constructive delivery and symbolic delivery. When delivery is effected without any change in the custody or actual position of the things, it is called as a constructive delivery, right? Or delivery by acknowledgement. So constructive delivery takes place when the person in possession of the goods, the person who is having a possession of the goods belonging to seller, acknowledge to the buyer that he is holding the goods on buyer's behalf, right? So in the case, Kishore acknowledged here. Kishore has what he has done? He has acknowledged, he accepted Ankit that he is holding the wheat on Ankit's behalf. Means not Ankit's behalf. Before picking the wheat from the warehouse by Ankit, it's not Ankit bacho, it is from on behalf of Bhaskar. It is on behalf of Bhaskar. Remember, on behalf of Bhaskar it is. On behalf of Bhaskar. Before picking the wheat from the warehouse by Ankit, whole wheat was flown in the flood. Right? On the basis of above provision and the fact, it is clear that possession of the wheat has been transferred through constructive delivery. Hence, Ankit is not right in a claim to price back. Got it? Got it, bacho? ಅರ್ಥ ಆಗಿದೆಯಾ? ಬರಂಗಿಲ್ಲ ಅದು ಬಿಕಾಸ್ ಹಿ ಅಕ್ನಾಲೇಜ್ ಮಾಡೋಣ ಆಯ್ತಪ್ಪ ನಾನು ತಗೋತೀನಿ ಅಂತ. So he cannot claim the price back here. Understood? Understood, bacho? Next, describe the consequences of destruction of the goods under the Sale of the Goods Act 1930. ಇದರಲ್ಲಿ ಏನು ಡೌಟ್ ಇದೆಯಾ? Any doubts you have? Tell me fast. No doubt, bacho? No doubt? ಬೇಗ ಬೇಗ ಹೇಳ್ರಿಪ್ಪ. Can I proceed? Done? Now, describe the consequence of destruction of the goods. Destruction means what? Everything is got spoiled. Under the Sale of the Goods Act 1930. Under the Sale of the Goods Act 1930. Where goods had been destroyed after the agreement to sell, but before the sale is effected. Very important question, bacho. Destruction. Destruction means goods has been spoiled before agreement to sale, right? After agreement to sell, but before the sale is effected. Before the sale is effected. Now, bacho, very important discussion we are doing here. Just have a look. In accordance with the provision of the Sale of the Goods Act 1930, as contained in section 8, provides that an agreement to sell means in future, goods are not exist at the time of doing the agreement. Agreement to sell a specific goods become a void if subsequently the goods without any fault of the part of the seller or buyer perish or become damaged as no longer to answer their description in agreement before risk passes to the buyer. Very important point we are saying. So whenever there is an agreement to sell, before transfer of the goods, if the goods got damaged, the agreement to sell is void, become void, especially in case of specific goods. Remember this, bacho. See, what they said is that agreement to sell a specific goods become void. When it is void, bacho, it is void subsequently the goods related to goods without any fault of seller or buyer. Neither seller or buyer has done nothing, and goods bought become perished or become damaged as no longer answerable as to their description in the agreement. As per the agreement, the goods are not exist. Right? The risk passes to the buyer here. The risk passes to the buyer. This rule is also based on the ground of impossible to perform. Right? This rule is also based on the ground of impossibility, because you cannot transfer the goods itself. You cannot sell the goods itself. However, section 8 applies here to only for specific goods. It applies to specific goods, not to the unascertain goods. You know what exactly the ascertain goods? You know what is specific goods? You know what is unascertain goods? So if the goods are unascertain, but your section 8 is not applied here. If the agreement to sell a certain quantity of the unascertain goods, the perishable of even the whole quantity of such goods in the possession of the seller will not relieve him his obligation to deliver. Remember, if the goods are specific goods, the damaged thing, the risk will be transferred to buyer. If agreement to sell related to unascertain goods, right, and agreement to sell certain quantity of unascertain goods, the whole risk will again transfer to the seller here. Understood, bacho? Understood? Arthagidiya? Arthagide? What are the rules relating to acceptance of delivery of the goods? May 19, RTP. Bacho, very important. So whatever that we are discussing, right, all the questions are very important from the point of exam, bacho. Get ready, right? Get ready. Please like and share and subscribe to the channel, bacho. So what are the rules relating to acceptance of delivery of the goods? Bacho, listen. Acceptance. Accept, when we are going to accept. If the goods are buyer, when he accepted means it is nothing but delivery. Right? How the law? So, bacho, acceptance is deemed to take place when the buyer, remember, buyer informed the seller that he had accepted the goods. One thing he said, okay, I have accepted. Second, does not add to the goods which is consistent with the ownership of the seller. Third, retains the goods after the lapse of the reasonable time without intimating the seller that he has rejected the goods. So, these three cases, we can say that buyer has accepted the goods. Means what? Intimate the seller that he has accepted the goods. So, he has informed seller that yes, I am going to take the goods, I am going to return the goods. You know this, right? Second, does any act, he has used the goods, use that goods as per the description, and he has, which is inconsistent with the ownership of the seller, as if he's acting as a seller, owner of the goods. That means he has accepted the goods. Got it? Next, retain the goods. He is holding the goods with him, he is not returning, and that after lapse of the time, right, without informing to the seller that he has rejected the goods, is nothing but bacho accepted the goods. Understood this three? Understood this three? Please say yes, sir. Arthagidiya? Arthagidiya? Now, what the question this says? What are the rules relating to acceptance of the goods, acceptance of the delivered goods? When we are delivering the goods, what are the rules? Listen. Ordinarily, a seller cannot compel the buyer to retain the rejected goods, but seller entitled to notice of the rejection. Means normal course of business, seller is there, right, cannot compel the buyer to return the goods, right, but seller entitled to notice the rejection. You should know, notice where the seller is ready and willing to deliver the goods and request the buyer to take the delivery of the goods, and buyer does not take the delivery of the within the reasonable time, he is liable to the seller for any loss right? Loss happened by neglecting of the or refusal takes place of the delivery. Means, say, assume that seller sent the goods to buyer. If buyer has not accepted, neither he has rejected, the goods are lying in the godown, he should inform to the seller saying that I am not going to accept it. If there is any loss is taken place, that the buyer will be responsible for this. Buyer is responsible for this. Means what I'm saying is that where the seller is ready and willing to deliver the goods, next request the buyer to take the delivery, and the buyer does not take the delivery within the reasonable time, he is liable to the seller for any kind of losses that has happened because of his negligence or refusal to take the delivery, and also reasonable charges for care and custody of the goods. Understood? Understood? Understood, bacho? What is meant by delivery of the goods under the Sale of the Goods Act? State the mode of delivery. Done just now, we have done, right? So, bacho, we aage de do. I don't want to repeat once again. Next. Understood or not? State essential elements of the contract of the sale under this is also done. So, aage de. A breach of condition can be treated as a breach of warranty. Explain. Bacho, this statement as per the relevant to provision of the Sale of the Goods Act. Breach of condition can be treated as a breach of warranty. If condition is breached, that is nothing but breach of warranty. Explain this statement as per the relevant to provision of the Sale of the Goods Act 1930. Listen, guys. The very important point we are discussing here. Now, please read that. Please read it, bacho. I'll get the water. Give me a minute. Okay. So, bacho, breach of the condition is nothing but breach of the warranty. Section, Sale of the Goods Act 1930, where any condition is breached, it is a breach of warranty. As a result of which buyer loses his right to cancel the contract and can claim the damage only. Remember, a very important point we are going to discuss here. Section 13 of the Sale of the Goods Act 1930 specify cases where breach of the condition to be treated as a breach of the warranty, which result in buyer loses his right to cancel the contract. Buyer, say condition if you are breaching the condition means definitely warranty has breached and can claim the damage only. Only he can claim the damages. In the following cases, contract is not avoided even on account of breach of the condition. Even in the following cases, contract cannot be avoided, right? Which are the conditions, sir? Just have a look here. Where buyer, although waives the performance of the condition, a party may, for his own benefit, waive a stipulation. It should be voluntary waiver. Means buyer has just waived off all the conditions, saying that let it be, it's going to be for my benefit. I don't want to continue the condition. I want to cancel the conditions. That breach of the condition is nothing but breach of the warranty. Right? where the buyer although waives the performance, waive means waiving off. Condition, a party may for his own benefit waive a stipulation. What is stipulation? Conditions. It should be voluntary waiver by the buyer. Here also, right, the breach of condition is not to be avoided. When? Where the buyer elect to treat as a breach of the condition as one of the warranty, that is to say that he may claim only damages instead of repudiating the contract. Here, the buyer has not waived the condition but decided to treat it as if it is warranty. Next, where the contract is non-servable, the buyer has accepted either the whole of the goods or part of that. Acceptance means acceptance as envisaged in section 72 of the Indian Contract Act, where the fulfillment of any conditions or warranty is excused by law, reasonable impossibility of the performance. Right? So guys, till here is okay for me. Right? We'll continue remaining part because I know that you need to you need some more examples on it. Not a problem, bacho. We will cover this by tomorrow. All right. So what I want is that join our daily live classes and join agri elru daily classes ge idu law ideyalla sale of the goods act naale nadda by Sunday we'll finish sale of the goods act with some more examples and Monday we'll take partnership, right? So when is your law bacha? And probably by tomorrow I want to finish by Sunday onwards, but till Sunday we'll finish the law. Law yavagide? When is your law? Tell me. Chalo guys, I'll continue in the evening, most probably law continue. Huh? Bye bye.